Welcome to Coding, your weekly cybersecurity podcast. Our mission here, well, it's really to cut through all the noise, bring you the most important cybersecurity news and stories, and pull out those nuggets of knowledge, those insights that help you stay informed, but without feeling totally overwhelmed. Think of it as your shortcut to understanding the latest threats and defenses. Okay, so today we're taking a close look at the evolving landscape of cyber threats, really diving in. We're going to navigate everything from the sneaky online traps targeting individuals, day-to-day stuff, all the way up to large-scale attacks on major organizations. And crucially, what everyone's doing to fight back. We'll explore new malware delivery methods, significant data breaches, and the vital defensive strategies being used right now. Okay, let's unpack this, right? Let's start with how trust itself is being weaponized right at the source, really, making users rethink even top search results. Hackers are using pretty sophisticated search engine optimization, SEO, to push fake download pages high up in Google's searches. Yeah, cybersecurity researchers at Arctic Wolf, for instance, they found tons of fake landing pages, impersonating popular Windows tools like PuTTY and WinSCP, software many IT pros, security folks, web devs use to securely connect to remote servers. And the deception, it's incredibly well crafted. These fake sites, they look virtually identical to the real deal. So when you search for these tools, click on a top result, boom, you can be tricked into downloading a malicious version. I mean, here's the really insidious part. The downloaded tool often still works. It does what you expect, but it's also silently delivering malware in the background.
Exactly. And this particular malware loader, it's called Oyster, though you might also hear it called Broomstick or Cleanup Loader. When Oyster runs, it immediately sets up shop, like a permanent secret foothold in your system. It does this using a scheduled task that fires off every 3 minutes. Super sneaky, right?
Every 3 minutes, wow.
Yeah. This task launches a malicious file, twain96.dll, using a common Windows tool, rondl32.exe. It's a classic persistence trick, basically telling your computer, hey, keep running this malware by registering it as a system component. And, for those who are following closely, Oyster combines stuff like process injection, string obfuscation, and it uses HTTPS for its command and control to make it really stealthy. Often it's just the first step in more complex multi-stage attacks.
Okay, and to give people a sense of how precise this is, the researchers saw fake domains like, let me read these, doshupdater.putty.com, zephyhype.com, putty.run.putty.bet, and putty.org. Now, what I find really striking here is that while putty in WinSCP were the ones observed, this technique could easily be used for almost any popular software, right? How widespread do you think this search engine poisoning threat actually is, beyond just these examples?
Oh, it's likely much more pervasive than we even realize. What's fascinating and kind of worrying is how threat actors exploit our established online habits. Our trust in things we think are reliable, like top search results. It really pushes the burden of verification onto the individual user in ways we haven't really seen before. Makes you question every single click for software download.
Yeah, that level of deception is unsettling, definitely. But it's not just about what you click on. What if the very addresses you type, the domain names, what if they're being hijacked in unexpected ways? Researchers at Cuffence, they've uncovered a startling new trend in how attackers are using seemingly normal domain names.
You're absolutely right. They saw, get this, a 19-fold increase in malicious campaigns using .es domains.
19 times for RET's Spain's domain.
Exactly. Between Q4 2024 and Q5 2025,
Yeah.
that makes .es the third most abused top-level domain globally, right after .com and .ru. Just to give you a sense of scale, they found nearly 1,400 malicious subdomains across about 450 .es-based domains, just between January and May this year.
Wow.
And an overwhelming 99% of these, credential phishing, just trying to steal your logins. The other 1% delivered remote access Trojans, RATs, things like ConnectWise RAT, Dark Crystal, Xworm, basically giving attackers remote control of your machine.
And these weren't just random attacks, were they? They were targeted.
Highly. Most campaigns, 95%, impersonated Microsoft, but they also mimicked other big names. Adobe, Google, DocuSign, even the Social Security Administration.
It's emails.
The email lures often look like HR stuff or document requests, trying to bait you into clicking, opening something you shouldn't. Standard phishing tactics, but using this .es angle.
Yeah, and technically, many of these malicious .es subdomains were just randomly generated strings, not even clever names, yet still highly effective. What's maybe even more concerning, 99% of them were hosted on Cloudflare,
Cloudflare. Wow, that's a trusted platform.
Exactly, a widely trusted content delivery network. So this rapid rise in DDoS domain abuse, especially when, you remember, they had significant restrictions on usage until 2005. It shows cybercriminals are adapting incredibly quickly. They'll exploit any perceived authority or novelty, even from country domains. Like they're relentlessly searching for new ways to gain trust, making it harder and harder for you to spot the fakes online.
It really is a constant battle. And speaking of trusted elements turning against us, let's talk about browser extensions, something so many of us use every day, integrate right into our workflow without a second thought. These little add-ons promise convenience, but they can be a huge security risk. That's a critical area, absolutely.
Yeah.
Toy security researchers recently found almost 24 Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge add-ons that were secretly spying on users, communicating with third-party servers. It looks like a pretty large-scale supply chain attack. This campaign, they called it Operation Red Direction. It compromised, cumulatively, 2.3 million users across Chrome and Edge.
2.3 million, that's staggering. Can you give an example?
Sure. There was this seemingly harmless Chrome add-on called Color Picker, Eyedropper Geico Color Pick. And it worked. It did exactly what it said, let you pick colors off websites. Super useful.
Right.
But in the background, it was also hijacking browser activity, tracking every single website visited, silently sending all that data off to remote servers.
That's chilling. Something you install yourself to help you ends up betraying you.
And what the researchers figured out is these add-ons weren't malicious from the start. They were likely legitimate products that got hijacked somewhere down the line. Which explains why many had hundreds of positive reviews. Some were even featured prominently on the Chrome Web Store. Made them look totally trustworthy.
So it wasn't just color pickers.
No, the range was wide. VPNs, site unblockers, weather forecast add-ons, emoji add-ons, all sorts of things. Now, most were removed from the official stores, thankfully, but many are still out there on third-party stores, standalone websites, so the threat definitely persists.
This feels particularly insidious because it preys on something we're encouraged to do, customize, be productive. It really highlights this growing crisis of trust, right at the foundation of our digital lives. The very software we choose, we rely on, even after being careful. It can be compromised after we install it, pushing supply chain risk right into our browsers.
It absolutely does. It demands a different level of vigilance, a shift in how we approach security for even the simplest tools we use.
Okay, so with those initial digital traps laid bare, let's dive deeper into some of the bigger, more complex attacks targeting organizations directly. These really show the sheer scale and reach of modern cyber threats. Right? Experts are warning about a new malicious botnet. It's called RondoDox, and it's being actively built by exploiting known, older security flaws in hundreds of digital video recorders, DVRs, and routers. It's like a digital zombie army, just lurking in everyday devices you might never suspect, ready to be unleashed.
That's a good way to put it. Cybersecurity researchers from Fortinet FortiGuard Labs identified two specific vulnerabilities here: CVE 2024-3721 and CVE 2024-12856. These flaws were found in specific TBK digital video recorders and Four-Faith routers. And what's really concerning, these exact same flaws were used before to build the infamous Mirai botnet.
Mirai. Wow, so attackers know these work.
Exactly. They're known quantities. And these devices, DVRs, routers, they're prime targets. Why? Because they often sit in retail stores, warehouses, small offices, places where they might go unmonitored for years. Makes them easy to compromise, and they just stay active, unpatched, unupdated, perfect long-term footholds for attackers.
And a network of compromised devices like these, what can they be used for?
All sorts of nasty stuff. Distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks flooding systems and knock them offline, creating residential proxy services that criminals can rent out, running layered scams, amplifying DDoS-for-hire campaigns. RondoDox specifically, though, seems to be used for stealth proxies, cleverly hiding command and control traffic for even more malicious activities.
Hiding the control traffic.
Indeed. RondoDox is particularly good at staying hidden. It disguises its traffic by pretending to be popular games and platforms like Valve, Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, GTA, even tools like Discord, OpenVPN, WireGuard.
So it blends in with normal network activity.
Exactly. It can also mimic custom traffic from tunneling services, real-time communication stuff. What's truly striking here isn't just that these vulnerabilities are still around, but how attackers relentlessly repurpose old weaknesses for these highly sophisticated new threats. It's a stark reminder that set it and forget, it just isn't an option anymore. Not for any connected device, no matter how unimportant it seems.
That's a really powerful point. So many of us have these older, maybe unmonitored devices just sitting on our networks. Really underscores how fundamental basic cyber hygiene is, even for tech that just hums away in the background.
Okay, so from dormant devices to active business disruption, let's pivot to a major ransomware incident, one that sent ripples right through the IT supply chain. A stark reminder, really, that nobody is truly immune.
Yeah, the victim here is Ingram Micro, a huge global distributor of IT products and services. They serve over 160,000 customers globally, including massive companies like Apple, HP, Cisco.
So a major player. Absolutely. The company confirmed it suffered a ransomware attack that forced it to shut down parts of its infrastructure. Couldn't operate properly. They acted proactively, took some internal systems offline, brought in third-party cybersecurity experts, and notified the police. Standard response, but shows the severity.
And do we know who was behind it?
Well, unconfirmed reports suggest it was SafePay. A relatively new ransomware operation emerged late 2024. SafePay uses double extortion tactics, meaning they don't just encrypt your data, they steal it too, threaten to leak it.
Nasty.
Very. And they claim to have breached over 200 organizations already across various industries. The reports indicate SafePay hackers got in through Ingram Micro's Global Protect VPN platform, left ransom notes on employee devices. Apparently, some employees were even sent home told not to use the VPN access. Shows you the immediate disruption.
Okay.
And among the systems hit, Ingram Micro's AI-powered Advantage distribution platform and their Impulse license provisioning platform. Critical systems.
This incident really underscores the growing systemic risk, doesn't it, within these digital supply chains. A single point of failure, a major distributor like Ingram Micro, can create this cascading crisis for thousands of businesses downstream. It demands, like, a whole new level of due diligence on third-party resilience. It's not just about protecting yourself anymore.
Exactly. It forces organizations to think way beyond their own perimeter security. You have to consider the vulnerabilities inherent in your entire digital supply chain.
Absolutely. And speaking of trust and sensitive data, our final story in this segment. It's a stark reminder of the profound responsibility companies have when they handle our most private information.
Right. This one involved Rockerbox, a Texas-based tax credit consulting agency. They inadvertently exposed sensitive data on thousands of their customers. Allegedly, by keeping a database full of personally identifiable information, PII, just open on the public internet.
Open, just sitting there.
Yeah. Apparently so. Cybersecurity researcher Jeremiah Fowler, who's known for finding unsecured databases like this, he discovered an archive, 286.9 gigabytes, containing almost 246,000 records.
Wow. And what kind of data are we talking about?
The really sensitive kind. In plain text, the database had names, physical addresses, email addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers,
Oh, no.
driver's licenses, ID cards, even images of SSN cards, employment and salary info from work opportunity tax credit documents, determination letters, acceptance or denial of eligibility,
Yeah.
and even DD-214 forms. Those are the certificates of release from active duty for military personnel, highly sensitive stuff.
Unbelievable.
There were also password-protected PDFs, but even their file names contained PII, like employer names and applicant names, which is a huge security mistake in itself.
Just leaving clues everywhere.
Pretty much. Now, after Fowler contacted them, Rockerbox did shut down the archive within a few days. But we don't know if anyone malicious got the data before then. There wasn't evidence of it being abused in the wild at the time of reporting, but the potential for harm, immense. It just highlights the incredible trust we place in companies handling our data and the devastating consequences when that trust is broken because of, well, lax security practices.
These stories can feel pretty overwhelming, I know. But it's crucial to remember the cybersecurity landscape isn't just about attacks. There's a constant evolving defense happening too. Organizations, individuals, they're developing increasingly robust strategies. So let's look at how people are fighting back. And we'll start with a tech giant, right at the forefront of AI innovation. ChatGPT maker OpenAI. They're reportedly intensifying both their cyber and physical security operations. Why? Rumored foreign threats, concerns about corporate espionage. It's a fascinating look at how a company on the cutting edge protects its crown jewels.
Yeah. This move apparently follows the release of a computing AI model by a Chinese startup, DeepSeek. DeepSeek reportedly used something called distillation to, well, essentially copy OpenAI's technology.
Distillation?
Yeah, it's the process where knowledge is transferred from a big, complex teacher model to a smaller, more efficient student model. Lets a third party create a similar model without direct code copying. So OpenAI has brought in new policies, restricting employee access to sensitive projects, discussions, similar to how they handled the development of their O1 model, where only pre-approved staff could even talk about it in shared office spaces.
And on the technical side, what are they doing?
Significant steps.
Hmm.
Proprietary tech, now being kept on offline systems to prevent breaches, and their network policies are stricter now, centered around a deny-by-default approach, meaning external connections need extra approval.
That sounds like a move towards zero trust.
It's definitely a significant shift towards a more secure, zero-trust kind of posture. Yeah. They've also ramped up physical security, offices using fingerprint scans for access, more people added to both cybersecurity teams and physical security at key sites, like data centers.
Okay, so defense on all fronts.
And more. OpenAI is also proactively funding research, 28 initiatives through their cybersecurity grant program. They're exploring concepts like prompt injection, secure code generation, autonomous cybersecurity defenses. They openly acknowledge that AI itself can democratize access to sophisticated attack tech for criminals. So they're investing heavily in both offense and defense, recognizing that the AI arms race is definitely on.
What's truly remarkable here, I think, is how companies like OpenAI aren't just reacting. They're investing heavily in proactive research, robust, multi-layered defenses. They get that AI can be both a powerful tool for attackers and a critical weapon in defense. It's fundamentally reshaping the whole security paradigm.
Right. And OpenAI's proactive measures. They clearly show that preparing for a cyber incident isn't optional anymore. Doesn't matter if you're a tech giant or a small business. But for most organizations, the real backbone of defense is a solid incident response plan, an IRP. So for our listeners, what are the absolute non-negotiables for an effective IRP? And maybe what's the most common pitfall you see, even in companies that should know better?
That's a crucial question, because it really boils down to building muscle memory for when things go wrong. An IRP isn't just a document you file away and forget. It has to be a living, breathing set of procedures, the non-negotiables. Start with a clear, simple structure. Use charts, bullet points, not dense paragraphs. Clarity is king when you're under pressure.
Makes sense. You need a designated incident response team, the IRT, usually led by a Chief Information Security Officer, a CISO, with crystal clear roles for everyone involved, from IT folks to legal advisors. A common pitfall, honestly. Underestimating the human element. You can have the best plan on paper.
Right.
But if your team hasn't practiced it, if communication breaks down during a real incident, it's pretty much useless. That's why you need robust detection and reporting procedures. Make sure even non-technical staff know how to flag something suspicious quickly. And crucial, yet often overlooked, communication strategies, both internal and external. Your PR and marketing teams. Pivotal in managing perception. Transparent, timely communication prevents panic, protects your reputation.
Okay, so internal and external comms are key.
Absolutely. And finally, you absolutely need procedures for containment, eradication, and recovery. How do you stop the bleeding, find the root cause, and then, crucially, get back to business safely? And all of this needs regular testing. Simulated attack scenarios, tabletop exercises, live drills, penetration testing, whatever fits, to find the gaps before a real attack does. Cyber insurance is also part of the picture now, covering costs like legal fees, maybe ransom payments. Your IRP needs to spell out exactly when and how to engage that coverage.
Okay, so if we were to boil it down to some do's and don'ts for IRPs for everyone listening, do train staff regularly, do update plans frequently that get stale fast, do communicate transparently, and analyze and learn from every single incident, big or small. On the flip side, don't ignore early warning signs. Don't underestimate employee training, it's critical. Don't neglect to update all stakeholders. And don't fail to adapt your strategy after an incident. Build that muscle memory you mentioned.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, think about your own personal incident response plan. Sounds formal maybe, but it's really about building that same muscle memory for your digital life. Do you know how to recover a hacked account quickly? Do you have a robust backup strategy? How often do you mentally walk through that?
It really is all about building a resilient, secure, operational environment, whether that's for a global corporation or just, your home network. So pulling all of this together, what are the most critical, maybe surprising takeaways for you listening today from this calm coding session?
Okay, first, the pervasiveness of deception. Cybercriminals are incredibly sophisticated now. They mimic trusted sources constantly. Google results, domain names like .es, even browser extensions you installed yourself. They weaponize your trust. The key takeaway, the burden of verification is shifting heavily onto you. Skepticism, that's your first line of defense now. Always verify.
Right, be skeptical.
Second, the vulnerability of everyday devices. Those old DVRs, routers sitting in homes, small offices, they can be hijacked for huge attacks like RondoDox. This means the set it and forget it approach for any connected device, it's just not viable anymore. Regular firmware updates, basic cyber hygiene, they're non-negotiable.
Got to patch those old things.
Third, the high stakes of data and ransomware. No organization, big or small, is truly safe. The Enneagram micro case. It shows the growing systemic risk in our digital supply chains. One breach can cause cascading crises. For you, this underscores the need for robust organizational defenses, yes, but also heightened vigilance about your own personal data.
Where is it? Who has it? Is it secure?
Good point.
Fourth, the power of preparedness and proactive security. Look at companies like OpenAI, investing heavily in sophisticated multi-layered security, cutting-edge research. They get that AI is both a threat and a tool. This commitment to proactive planning, shown by a really battle-tested incident response plan, it's absolutely essential for organizations, and it sets a valuable example for individuals too. Apply that thinking to your own digital life.
Be proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly. And finally, remember the enduring importance of the human element. Ultimately, training, awareness, critical thinking. These are still our strongest, most adaptable defenses. Your ability to just stop, think critically about what you're clicking, downloading, or sharing. That's more valuable than ever against these evolving threats.
That wraps up another week of calm coding. We've definitely seen how quickly the cybersecurity landscape shifts, but also how essential those proactive steps are in staying safe.
So here's a thought to leave you with. If AI is democratizing access to more sophisticated attack technologies for the bad guys, how will it also transform our personal and organizational defenses in the coming year? What new tools or maybe new habits will you adopt to stay ahead, to keep calm in the face of these evolving threats?
Thanks for joining us. We hope this deep dive has given you a clearer picture of today's cybersecurity challenges and, maybe more importantly, some ideas on how you can navigate them. Stay safe out there, and we'll be back next week with more calm coding.